this is mostly going to be odd considering I'm reviewing a That's So Raven episode where it involves Devon, and this is the final episode, well, not really final episode, but the episode where Devon actually moves to Seattle, and there are other episodes involving Devon in the second season. I'm still gonna do a review on it for this episode because it's not only one of the best episodes from the show, but the fact that I want to celebrate Black History Month in some other way, even if I'm doing Valentine's half month at this moment. So, this is my review of There Goes the Bride from That's So Raven. The episode begins with Raven acting suspicious on the behavior from Devon because he isn't happy or anything, and she has a vision of Devon with a wedding ring in his hand, and she assumes that he's gonna give that wedding ring to her. However, the full story is that his father is about to get married, and the family that his father is getting married, well, mainly his future wife, is in Seattle, which is where Devon's family is gonna move to. Which makes Raven completely depressed at the fact that she has to find a way in order to prevent Devon's family from moving to Seattle. And that's basically all I have to say about the episode's plot. Considering that this is the final time we get to see Devon, despite the fact that he makes a guest appearance in the 4th season, I really think that the 2nd season really wanted to give Raven a love interest, but also give Raven a lesson to move on, despite the fact that the whole love of her life is moving is something that she can't move on, especially since this is still the 2nd season and Devon made his appearance in the 2nd season. Let me talk about Devon in this episode. Considering that he's the love interest of Raven, I can say that he's not really a perfect character. I mean, for how he's portrayed in some of the episodes in the 2nd season, he's just trying to be himself while also just trying to be nice to Raven. In some episodes where Raven tries to get into a convention that he's into but not her, he tells Raven to be honest, and considering that Raven is just too desperate to be with Devon, I really think that him leaving is honestly a stepping stone or a phase that Raven needs to learn in order to understand what Devon is dealing with. Last year, back in September, I was in a wedding where I completely saw one of my brothers marrying the person that they love the most. However, we didn't move to anywhere, but there is still some changes that we need to accept. And the fact that Raven is just concerned of Devon moving really makes you understanding of how she's feeling. Granted, she's just trying to do something for herself that can actually make her happy. However, by the end of this episode, after weeks of missing Devon, she's about to crack. Although, after this episode, she got over with Devon, not falling in love with him, just getting over the fact that he actually moved. If you ask me, the decision of your father marrying someone who lives into a different location while your family has to move and you have no choice but to say goodbye to your best friends and the one that you love the most, you don't have any other choice to change anything. And considering that Devon only makes one appearance in the 4th season and does appear in Raven's home, it really shows that they probably wanted to wrap up this arc in the 2nd season, since Devon made the most appearances out of any other season from the show. And I have to admit, the moment of Devon and Raven kissing before Devon leaves is probably one of the best moments I've seen in this show. The subplot of this episode is that Corey gave Victor and Tanya a 1 anniversary gift a month earlier, and the gift that he gave his parents is Clucky the Singing Chicken, which makes clucking noises on the wall. It's basically those mini animatronics that an animal sings with their mouths moving. I've had that before. When it comes to Corey in the show, it's really obvious that he'll do anything he can in order to get money off of something by scamming or just trying to figure out a way in order to make the chances happen. In this episode, since that he's mostly killing towards his parents, he decides to give him a gift that can actually give them entertained in some other way. However, the present itself is actually going to cause breaking points from Victor and Tanya. They learn that there's no batteries whatsoever, so it's basically like a charged machine that can't be able to die without any of the use of batteries. And the reason why they want to get rid of it is because, like I mentioned, they cannot stand the amount of times Clucky has completely making noises on the wall. Whenever I had those things, they just sang to me and they had a button on it, so you press the button and they sing. However, what Chloe got had no button whatsoever. And considering that Chloe doesn't do anything in order to scam people's money, I can guarantee you that for what he's doing in this is just trying to be nice, but at the same time, Victor and Tanya just doesn't want to disappoint Chloe that much. Granted, they do other things when it comes to the subplots of the show, but for here, since it's mainly a mother and father just trying to be respectful towards their son or daughter, they really had to do what they could in order to make themselves happy by not pulling out the frustration on Chloe. And besides, compared to the subplots from this show towards the Nickelodeon teen sitcoms, I honestly have nothing to discuss about the subplots. I did mention them before on my Hannah Montana marathon, but comparing to what I look at them right now, it's basically don't take it seriously and actually appreciate what the other characters are doing in order to extend the episode's runtime, which is something I have nothing against this, and I will have to admit that the humor involving the subplot is actually entertaining. Same goes to the other humor that I'm gonna get to later, because at the end of the subplot, Chloe brought another machine similar to Clucky the Singing Chicken, and it's way annoying than the last one. And I have to admit, it's actually kind of a good way to end off, because at the fact that Chloe actually bought a new device that is similar to the last one that he used really shows that he just has a sense of humor whenever he's not into getting so much money from other people. The humor in this episode from the main plot is actually kind of good. I mean, Eddie, in order to spare time while Raven and Chelsea just tries to find the bride in the dress just to prevent anything from happening from Devon's family from moving, Eddie just plays the piano in front of everyone, and he just plays different tunes. I mean, he plays one of the baseball themes, and I honestly found it really humorous. And we get to see Nadine, who is the little sister of Devon, and if you watched this show before, you pretty much knew who this character is. Especially the fact that she makes her first appearance in this season as well. Even though that she doesn't do much in this episode, she's still a hilarious character on the fact that she's just defending her brother from getting any romantic relationship with someone, and that someone is Raven. Don't believe me? Then go watch the episode of Raven and Chloe going to a kid's pizza restaurant and see just how Nadine is portrayed in that episode. Trust me when I say this, is that when you see that episode, you will probably feel the intensity from her performance in this show. And that's basically all I have to say about this episode in general. I know some of you guys expected me to review Hearts and Minds, and I did mention me talking about more Devon episodes in the later Valentine's half months, if that's a possibility, but who knows, there is still going to be changes along the way when it comes to me thinking about which episode I'm going to talk about. All in all, this episode was a really good episode from That's So Raven. I give this episode an 8.5 out of 10.
Let's get this started again. Me and my whole